Either you do or don't have it. Young, black, and gifted, talking the whole package. Magic, magic, light, camera, action. You are now witnessing the power of black magic. Black magic. You are now witnessing the power of black magic.
It's a long match though. It was good at the start. They did win back mid, but just got to know how to capitalize on it. Their opening's pretty good. Aren't making too many mistakes, and they're kind of getting exactly down what they need, which is awesome. Again, once you get a bit more experience, you can start to push forward on your opponent's either G3 or G9 and fully win top or bottom at the start, which is a big help. Again, better to put it at L3 than K3. The reason being is that if your opponent is able to get in and put a block here, let's say at L3, your opponent would have to replace their gem with a laser at M3 to destroy this block. Not only does that use up 1 energy, but you actually get rid of this energy gain. So you're actually losing 2 energy for it. Whereas if they put their wall at L9, let's say, and I put a, say, wall here, they could just use a generator here, which we're still gaining 1 energy, but losing 1 energy. So you're actually net 0. And that's exactly what I did here. Now, yes, you can build around it, but that gets rid of your space and it also uses 3 blocks. So it's kind of up to you. It's a give and take. And again, even though they were quicker off the start, they've put some random blocks here at the start, which not only does it waste 3 energy, but it wastes the time having to come up here. That laser doesn't do anything. So I'm just stable mid, stable bottom, supering top. Now I've actually won top. As you can see, I've managed to push my laser to I9, got the 2 gens, so now I just have to connect to mid, super mid. It is a bit messy at the top, so I'm just going to connect to bottom. Meanwhile, Pigg is kind of floundering around, not really doing anything. Again, full base energy, they need to super somewhere. I would recommend probably supering top, and then they need to get ready to super back mid to win it. Don't worry about bottom because I don't actually have a laser here, and this is the exact reason why you should connect your mid super to the side you're strongest on. But they've done a good job. I actually haven't won mid yet, but if I'm able to get this I6 spot, then that automatically wins mid. You just need those 4 blocks. And as you can see, I have now won it. So again, 2 gens, 1 laser, another laser should go here at I7. Yep. And then that's mid 1. Again, in the meantime, while I've been doing that, I'm actually already winning back bottom and I'd already won top. So the game's kind of over. They need to super probably mid to make sure they don't lose that, and then they need to super top or bottom. But the game's almost over at this point. And that's also one way to die. Once you get pretty comfortable at the start, it's good to actually bring in a gen in this top spot straight away rather than a wall and then replace it later with a gen like they did here. Essentially, you're already going to have the energy for it, and as you can see here, I'm just immediately bringing in a gen and a laser so I don't have to replace them later, and they can already start going to work. And I actually had it there before Pigg had it at the top. As you can see, my development is kind of ahead of Pigg, or almost in line with Pigg, even though I've got this speed handicap. So again, better to place it here rather than there. If they get a block in there, I can just replace that with a laser. But if they get a block in here, you have to replace a gen. So I'm actually ahead of Pigg now. Space is almost even. They got an extra block in mid. And as you can see, this is a pretty tight match. They supered top, I supered bottom. Again, you need to prioritize where you're attacking. I'm down here because this is where I'm supering. So I'm going to eventually move that extra block forward. Pigg needs to move up top. And again, it's better to bring in a block while you wait rather than have a gap there. Because if I could get in there and put a block, that would really disrupt it. And again, it's really even now. We've both got up to either G9 or I3. Connecting to mid, as you can see, both of us are doing the exact same thing. And Pigg is there before me and replaces the perfect block. And he's able to win mid. So that was perfect by them. But now they're standing doing nothing. And this laser is not good for them. So they need to win this spot at G6 where they literally had a block. They're standing in it. They need to win it. Just put any block there. It doesn't even matter if it's a good block or one that'll work. You just need to place blocks there. Make sure you win it. And then you can go in and replace stuff later. So exactly what they're doing now. Perfect. They just need to replace this I6 laser with a wall. And then push it forward to probably G7 or G5. Again, this is a decent amount of offense, but they are actually losing top, and they are about to lose mid because I am supering it back. So this is why they just need to put 2 gens, 2 lasers in mid, and then start winning something else back. So I've won both top and bottom, but they still have mid set. So I am slowly supering it back, but it is pretty hard. So this is where that mid pressure is really important. And Pigg still hasn't managed to do anything else with this advantage. So again, it might look like your opponents are teleporting, but again, it's just a bit of desync. Again, they just need to probably super bottom at this stage, but again, because they've had 3 lasers running in mid, but only 2 gens, they've actually used up a lot of their bank energy. And obviously this isn't helping them. So yeah, a couple of little things. They had a really good start. They managed to win mid before I did, and it was pretty tight. But again, this is where you get to the middle game, where you really need to know how to capitalize. So again, I have one mid. I have 2 gens in there. All I need to do is bring in 1 more laser, and it's done. And Pigg's already given up. Nice little dance of defeat there. So yeah, unfortunately they weren't able to capitalize on mid, and in that meantime, they couldn't actually win anything else. So, bit of a rip, unfortunately. And again, even if your opponent wins mid, or wins most of mid, you can still win it back. And game is not quite over. But that's also why you need to practice your middle game as well. And the end game is more just your counterplay. It's more just if you are losing, you need to know how to come back. So again, I'm actually opting now to start bringing in some more gens and lasers a bit earlier on because I have the energy, and I know your opponent isn't going to take advantage of the fact that you haven't put blocks in either, say, G9 or F9. And again, this is a very valid strat. If you already have a gen set, you can actually put a laser on it and it will instantly fire because it's already got the energy there waiting. So if you know your opponent's going to be coming down, say the 8th row or the 4th row, you can quickly put in those lasers there and get some nice damage in. So Pigg's down to maybe about 20% health now. So they can only take maybe about a second more or about 2 or 3 more hits of a laser, and they're actually dead. So it's one thing you really got to focus on and keep track of is not just your own movements and what you're doing, but obviously what your opponent's doing as well. So as you can see, I have 1 bottom. I am now going mid, and I don't even care what's happening at top because I know that once I win mid, I can just go and win top later. But you can't always win mid later. So that's why you got to prioritize it first, because it's the most important. Even if Pigg say won all the way up to D9, because it's not actually attacking my base, I can win it back later, and I don't have to worry about it. Now I'm opting to actually get rid of this laser from mid, just to give Pigg a bit of a chance to see if they can come back and capitalize on their advantage at top. But yeah, that's why damage early on is something you really got to watch out for. Alternatively, you can actually opt to try and target your opponent every single time, and as you can see, my speed is now back to normal. So I'm at the exact same speed as Pigg is, and you can see here why movement's really important to make sure that you move optimally. And as you can see, I was able to get that I3 spot. Now, you can quickly see here, now I'm just going to quickly take my top spots, make sure I secure them, and now I can actually capitalize on bottom, because this is where I've won already. As you can see, D3 first before E3. It doesn't matter too much if your opponent's not there, but it's good in principle to do. Again, see? L3. And again, this is where your more experienced people can capitalize on these little mistakes. Again, it's a very fast-paced game, so it's hard to make these decisions on the fly. And as you can see, this doesn't really work because I have a block there, but it doesn't matter. I'll go and replace it later. Now, Pigg is trying to get a snipe here, but as you can see, I have the foresight to kind of look forward and see what's happening. And again, that just comes with time and practice. And again, as you can see, Pigg's really behind now in development and everything, and they're just really flustered. They don't really know what to do, they don't know what to prioritize, they don't know how to capitalize, and they're just losing everything at this stage. And it is hard, obviously, with every game. You're a beginner, you got your intermediates, and then you got your pro players as well. So it is still good to analyze these games though. And as you can see, I actually blocked, I'll go back. Because I know that Pigg has to either put a laser in at H6 or I6 to win mid, because I haven't done that already and they've kind of fluffed around, I've actually gone in and blocked it before I've gone through and done anything else. Because when I slowly go through and push mine forward, the only way for them to get a laser in here is to get rid of their gen, move into the line of sight of the laser, and then put another laser there. So this is actually one way I can win mid without having to super it, is just prevent them from getting it in the first place. And as you can see, I've won bottom, I've won mid, and it's just even at the top. And again, I've pushed forward bottom, I've pushed forward mid, and just like they get that, the game is already over. Well over. And even for an experienced player, it's almost impossible to come back from this. Again, snaking in mid, bring in some more walls to push it forward, gives me more space, constricts your opponent's space, obviously wins that extra gen. Means you can bring in that third laser into mid. Again, restricting more, bringing the lasers in even forward. And if you can get your lasers to N5 and N6, just like you saw in an earlier game, how I had N9 and M9, your opponent can't win them back at all, and the game's just over, which you'll see in a later match with mid. At this stage, again, I have a full bank of energy, so I need to super somewhere. I should super top, because that's the only thing I haven't won, but at this stage, the game's just over. The only thing Pigg can maybe do is trying to connect and super mid, which they actually could do. They block this laser, which is actually really good, so they just need to connect here, super mid, win this back, and then go from there. But again, it's really hard to kind of be cerebral enough to think of that, especially, well, essentially endgame or counterplay. And yeah, they've kind of given up. It's good to still practice movement and how to defend yourself here, but like I said, I've completely won bottom now. You got that N3 and M3 spots. Again, not good to do this, waste time and energy. So, just something to keep in mind. As you can see, I've now got the N6 and N7 spots, and there's literally no way they can defend this. They can't even get in front of it to place walls, and they can't even get to their shop to buy stuff, so there's literally no way to win now. I could just hide in a corner, and the game would be over. Or you can do a little victory dance with your opponent. Always fun. And as you can see, even though we're doing the exact same thing, my movements are crisp. It's the exact spots that I need to go, the exact blocks that I need, and as you can see, I am in front of them. Now, I did again try and go for that advantage, but they managed to get the trade in, so we're dead even now in the opening. Again, I9 is better, because as you saw from the previous match, if your opponent gets those spots, then it's not very good. I like to opt for an early gen with no laser, because that actually starts to give me energy early, rather than start to put a laser in there. So I get maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 extra energy at the start of the match, which really helps later on. Again, as you can see, utilizing that L9 spot, taking that from my opponent, and they've actually blocked their bottom, which was good. Again, get a bit of damage in there if you can. I should be supering bottom, because that's where I have just that extra spot, so I don't waste another energy. But they did actually block it, which was quite nice. So I can either go under it, which is what I'm going to do. Obviously, it takes a bit more time, or super top. Now, yes, you can build around, and it is actually quicker to build at the bottom, because it only requires 2 blocks rather than 3. But again, takes time, takes energy, takes away some space. So better to just either prevent that, or you can try and destroy it, but again, that's pretty cost effective as well. Now, even though I said this is a bad idea, and generally it is, because I'm actually supering here, it's not too bad to try and destroy the connection there. Because as you can see, my opponent did a really good job of preventing me from supering bottom. They went to disrupt my connection first, then they actually blocked it and traded out some blocks, so that was really good of them. But yeah, unfortunately, just a little bit quicker, I managed to get in a super before they could, which also wastes a lot of energy on their part, and obviously I end up winning it, if I know how to play the game properly. And again, it's kind of good that they put the lasers there, get a bit of damage, but standing doing nothing, you should almost never be doing. Now, they pretty much need to super top, because I've already won bottom. They could super mid right now, if they wanted to. That's a really good option to begin with. Jacko, who's one of our really good players, he likes to super mid before even winning top or bottom, because he's super quick, super precise, and it makes it really hard to counter it back, because you end up getting distracted, and that's when he wins top or bottom. But for a beginner, secure all 3 places, win just 1 top or bottom, connect to mid, 2 gens and lasers, then win one of the other spots. Alright, so as you can see, fully won mid. Got 2 gens, 2 lasers, and was about to get a third gen, but opponent said, nah, not today. So, again, I've just won mid. Opponent is managing now to try and super back bottom, which is really good, and they're trying to prevent mid while they're at it, which is really good and what you should be doing mid-game. Again, I'm kind of stuffing around in mid a fair bit, but have managed to win it with all 3 gens. And now, opponent has secured bottom. They should have used one of these walls here to connect here to bottom. And right now, they need to don't worry about bottom anymore because they've already won it back. So they need to now connect bottom to mid and super mid back to win it. But I have all 3 lasers in here, snaking now, moving that extra block forward, as much room as possible for me, and less for the opponent. And right now, because I've already won mid, I can either go bottom or top. I've already got a super going top, so won that, and now I can just go bottom or take top. But again, the game's already over. As soon as you win mid, you win the match. And as I said, the beginning is something you can actually practice. And as you can see here, I have won I6. If you can win either these 3 blocks in mid or F6, G6 and J6, so these 3 spots, you automatically win mid. So it's the exact same as top, bottom and middle. Like how I won that I3 spot and then won bottom, it's the exact same for mid, but mid's a lot more dangerous. And as you can see, my opponent actually stuffed up their gen at the start. And because I saw that, I knew I was going to be quicker than them. I've already won mid and the match is over. Just already over. That's why mid's so important. Now, I should be bringing in another laser in here so I can actually capitalize on the fact that I have won mid. But to give my opponent a bit of a chance, I'm not actually putting any extra lasers in mid, but just the fact that I have won mid, and that's something they need to keep considering. I will continue to snake, however. But as you can see, we're trying to both super bottom, but they're actually losing an energy in this stage because of it. I'm still gaining one because I don't actually have a laser at top. So again, they need to probably disconnect their super at bottom because now they have no energy. They need to super mid, and they should have supered top to begin with. As you can see, you can actually body block in this game. You can just stand still and your opponent can't get through. So all this time, I'm just attacking their base. So yeah, if you win mid, especially off the opening, then you just win the whole match. That's why you really need to practice your openings and just simply the movement in your own time without actually playing people. In terms of which side it's better to go for, either the 9th row or the 3rd row in the beginning, doesn't matter too much, but little things like if you want to build a gen first, the gen is actually in the 7th row in the shop. Doesn't matter which side of the map you're on. So it's actually about 2 squares quicker if you want to go top first. So usually blocks in the bottom in the 3rd row and then go top after. As you can see, the opening's pretty close so far. We both have 2 gens, 2 lasers, but I have now got my 3rd one. And just like you saw in an earlier match, I'm trying to block their opponent's access to mid so they can't put the laser in there, but they managed to get it. But I have blocked their bottom, so I have actually managed to win the 3rd row now. So again, connect to mid and, well, super mid, but they have actually blocked. So this is what blocking is, where you restrict your opponent's access so they can't access either the row or any part of the map. And as you can see, while I was waiting there, I actually brought in 2 walls and a gen, because I know as soon as I win mid, I just have to fill it in, bring in walls to replace it, bring in my lasers, bring in more walls to move it forward, and there you go. So that's why it's good to not just stand and do nothing while you're waiting for something to destroy. Bring in what you're going to need, because you know you're going to need them anyway. So you may as well do that while you're waiting. Again, if you're standing doing nothing in this game, that's bad. And if you have a full base of energy and you're not supering, that's also bad. And yet they just gave up. Again, it's very easy to just get a slight advantage and run away with it if you have the experience. A few desyncs here to begin with, but again, it usually tidies itself up a bit later. And Pigg is ahead in the opening by just a little bit. But it's very even so far. Again, like I said, I like to connect this first so I can just get that extra energy coming in. So that's 2, that's 3 extra energy, that's 4 extra energy, 5, 6, and you get the point. I'm already starting to get energy building up here, even just by developing and getting that gen connected early, before I even put my laser there. And as you can see, I've got everything set up in the beginning, so now I super somewhere. Again, perfect just to bring in that extra wall there. Now it's connected. I leave my laser there, because I'm going to need to put it in mid to super it. So, I'm deciding to kind of take everything back already, just to give my opponent a chance to now assess what the threats are, and find the way they're going to win it back. So again, they keep building around this, which is quicker than destroying it. But again, you need to know what to do. So again, normally I would try and win mid because I've already won top and bottom at this stage, but building myself a little bunker, giving my opponent a chance to try and actually win something. Now, just a quick note while they're doing this, if you want to defend against a laser, start building from the back first. So you want L3, then K3, then J3. Because essentially you want to eventually put a laser there and super it back. They don't quite know what I'm doing, so I'm not going to worry about giving them a chance to come back. So again, they needed to super top or bottom, win that back, connect to mid, super mid. Very simple game plan in theory, but obviously very hard to execute. And there's lots of things you got to think about, where your blocks are, where your opponent's blocks are, what they're trying to do, where they're trying to go, and the like. So that's why it's a strategy game. Movement's also another thing that just gets better with time. You get more comfortable with moving the blocks and swapping them around, but as you can see, I'm not perfect at it. And a lot of players in the Discord, especially some of the top players, are really good at it. But everything just comes with practice. It's all just for fun. Again, unfortunately, because Pigg wasn't able to win pretty much anything with the slight advantage and opportunity I gave them, then they're just now simply behind. So again, the game's just over. But you can still have a bit of fun. Again, there are obviously lots of different strategies, lots of other things you can try and prioritize. You don't always have to do the same thing every time, which is what some of the OG players, even before my time, like to do. But being a strategy game, obviously you start to come up with the best ways of doing things, and once you get to the top level of gameplay, you kind of have to do things a certain way. Unfortunately now I am bullying Pigg. I'm simply just trying to win everything. But again, all in good fun. And just one note, if you do actually destroy your opponent's connecting walls at either M11 or M1, if you get your own one there, it's really annoying for your opponent to try and destroy that back. If they manage to still have this gen, you have to have a gen, a wall, and then another laser just to destroy it. So it can be pretty good to, if you can quickly put one laser there, destroy it, and then run up and put a wall, then that is actually worth it. But not to keep it there indefinitely. And if your opponent sees it and blocks it, then just get rid of it. Don't worry about it. Again, as you can see, I've won obviously the entirety of top, and if you can get these here for your opponent's side, then you automatically win those spots. So that's just an indefinite damage, and you can also trap your opponent and leave no way out other than death. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching part 1 and part 2. This is pretty much my yearly upload, unfortunately. The other thing with the game as well is the servers are dead, like completely dead, so we can't actually play online. So unfortunately, until the game is fully complete, which will hopefully be within the next 10 years, Piggy, then we'll be able to play again. But for the moment, you're just going to have to suffice with my YouTube videos. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Catch ya.